everybody, welcome back to the She Said podcast. My name is Leah and this is Claire. And for today's podcast, we thought we would talk a little bit about tech. Obviously, I'm in my 20s and Claire's in her 40s, so we probably have a very different experience when it comes to technology. I don't know about
Huge.
yeah. But when did you get your first mobile phone? How old were you?
So when I got my first mobile phone, I was 19.
Okay.
So I was quite early-ish. But the only reason I got it is because I had Tom as a baby and I had no landline because I couldn't afford a landline. So I
Oh
was bought a pay-as-you-go Nokia phone. It was about this big.
my
And
God.
the screen was like that big. And when you had to like send a message, so number one was ABC. So if you wanted to say ABC, you're pressing it three times, and you can't even see the whole of your text message because like the screen's like this
Yeah,
big.
yeah.
But I never used it because I couldn't afford to run it because it was pay as you go. So it was only for in case of emergencies. So I was 19.
Like text calls, were they quite expensive back then?
Yeah, God, it was like 10p to send a text, and you was only allowed like 120 characters on your text. If you went over 120 characters, then you got charged another
Oh,
10p.
yeah.
That's why I think a lot of old school people will write things like you with a U, or
Oh, okay.
because if I wrote you, I'm using three characters, and I
Right.
so
Yeah,
that's maybe why sometimes I still revert back a little bit to it, or
yeah,
maybe the abbreviations have come in because you used to get charged 10p for every 120 characters.
yeah. I remember people saying that because it was like similar to like a tweet, wasn't it? You were only allowed a certain number of characters on a tweet. But I never made the connection between that's why people use like U and R and things like that. I never really made that connection. I think I was quite late still as well when I first got my phone. I got a Nokia as well, so we're both part of the Nokia gang. I got like a little it was tiny, like a cube, and then you like pushed it up a little bit and then it showed the keyboard underneath.
Oh, I remember them ones. Did it have like a swirly pattern on it? Like
So it was
a bit like my nail design, like a swirly little pattern on the
kind of, yeah.
yeah.
There was a
There was
few that it was like a collab with no, it wasn't like that. It was like a slide up.
yeah, because I had the flip version, the silver
Right.
one with the little. Do you remember the little like porthole screen on those little silver?
Yeah,
I had that one, but wanted the one you had that was
right.
prettier that you pushed up.
Yeah. But I remember it was a collab with, Kath Kidson. It was the most bizarre thing ever, but it was like a collaboration with her. So you could get loads of different patterns for the phone. So I got
Mm.
like a little pink one with stars on it, but I know there was a swirly one that you could get as well.
At
But
least I remember that though. Then
yeah, I mean, I was 13 when I got my first phone. So that would have been like 2008, maybe, that I got my first mobile phone. But I feel like
2000.
since then, like, I think my generation and probably yours a little bit like the much older generation, I can't even imagine how difficult it is for them because they would have probably just got used to a normal phone. And then all of a sudden, there's like webcams and
Yeah.
this type of technology that you can get, it is baffling. Like you can get like phones and glasses and it's just crazy. And like even looking at like an Alexa or whatever the other ones are
The
called as well,
madness.
like I bet
I
that's
remember when
really
I
hard.
was Leah, I think I must have been 9 or 10. And I remember some program my mum was watching, and I watched it, and it was talking about maybe I was a bit younger, but it was talking about how in the future you're going to be able to order pizza from your telly and shop from your telly and all this. And I remember my mum looking at it like, what? And me thinking, what?
Yeah.
We've got four channels here, and somebody's telling us in the future we're going to be able to do that from our telly. And it just seemed like a whole different world. And now, obviously, you can. It's
Yeah,
madness.
it is. And I feel like what was that? There was a film, oh, Back to the Future, and then they went into the future, didn't they? Like I think the latest time that they went into the future, or maybe not, but they went into a time in the future and they thought that we'd have like hoverboards and stuff like that. And I think we don't have them like as readily available, but you can get like things like hoverboards because technology
Yeah.
is like, it's just crazy. And just before this call, before this podcast, me and Claire were talking about chat GPT. And when I said that, I feel like if you're in like the tech or like the social world, you'll know all about this. But Claire has no idea what
I
this
like what? What's
is.
that?
But it's like it's the whole idea of like AI. So being able to tell it something and it being able to come up with all these answers. Like you could literally ask it, and it's really dangerous actually, because I remember my sister in college or in uni, there was like a ban. You couldn't use this because obviously people could literally write their essay question and it would tell you, it would write your essay for you. You could even say, I need a 3,000 word essay on blah, 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 blah. And it would get it bang on, like of 3,000 words. And it you could ask it to include references and whatever. But there was a type of way that you input your uni paperwork, and that wasn't even like up to date as much as the chat GPT was. So people were able to get away with it, so because it wasn't caught up with it, so it couldn't check if it was like an online thing. So that was like a whole thing. But it's just, I'll have to send you the link, I'll send it
Send me
you.
the link so I can have a mess about with it, because what I found interesting that you'd said, like when you're struggling for a caption for things on social, because we post so much and write so much on the daily basis, you do get a little bit of like brain freeze where it's like, what can I say about that? So if that system does it for you, bring it here. I've got kids' homework to do. I'll be like, right.
Literally, it's a good idea.
Whatever you are, I don't know, is it Siri? Is it like hello, like Siri? Can you do some phonics, please, with my 4-year-old?
I mean,
They'd love it.
yeah, it is. It's really, really clever. And I don't use it for everything, to be fair, because sometimes if when you have a play with it, you'll notice it makes things up. Like you can ask it to make a promotional text or whatever for something, and it'll come up with like, oh, here's 80% off. And I'm like, oh, well, we don't offer that. So you have to like remove certain things from it, or like you can tell it, you could be super, super specific and then it'll come out with exactly what you want. Whereas if with me, I'm like, I like to see a variety. So I might say like create 5 captions for a post, and then I'll pick and choose bits that I like, or I'll pick like a caption or like a nice quote and I'll use that. And it's amazing. It's really, really clever. So I'll send you the link and you can have a go, and you can let me know what you think of it.
Send me the link and I'll get like up to date with modern technology. I mean, I'm more up to date than some people. All my friends call me technical. Oh, Claire's real technical. I'm like, no, I'm not. They're like, yeah, you are, because you can edit videos. I'm like, it's TikTok. It's,
to be fair, yeah,
it's easy to do,
I
but
feel like
they don't know how to do it.
yeah, I think video editing is quite difficult, especially when you're a bit older. So I feel like you do really well. Was that like a bit of a backhanded compliment?
I'm not going to swear on camera.
I mean,
you do well for an old person.
I didn't mean it like that.
I know you did, but it was hilarious. So I'm having that.
You do well though. Like the amount of videos that you edit on TikTok and stuff like.
Yeah. I do learn fast, I suppose. It's like when you first trained me in like Canva and stuff for social media, I was like, how do I scroll? How do I?
Oh no, Claire, that time that she literally rang me to ask me how do you scroll on her laptop, and I was like, Claire, surely not. This is not a conversation that I'm having right now.
It was though, but the thing is, I'd never used laptops. I'd
Yeah.
only ever used. So I worked in my youth. I worked in a call center when the children were little. So I used call center systems, and then I went from the call center to the police. So again, police systems. So they were all big 1980s jumbo, like PCs, and all the systems were just systems we used. So I'd never actually used a laptop until I was given one, and I'm Leah. But in fairness, I was given was it an American laptop? And what doesn't it have on it?
it had like the keyboard was a bit different, I think.
Keyboard's funny. The I doesn't work on it for a start. The A doesn't work on it. The number 8 doesn't work. So, I mean, I was struggling to start with. What is it that I have to copy and paste? Because it doesn't have an and key, is it?
Was it the at? Like the at?
Yeah, maybe the
Oh,
at. But I don't know. But there's something missing on it, which I
I
had to then
remember.
Google
Yeah.
every time I wanted to add it to something. So I wasn't given the easiest of equipment to work with.
No.
So
To
that's
be
my
fair,
difference.
do you remember when that first laptop arrived and we called it like the leapfrog laptop because
Yeah, yeah, leapfrog learning laptop.
it's meant to be like an easy laptop to. I feel like if you were given a Mac, like I think I grew up with like Windows and Dell and like just like simple laptops to work with. And then I always loved the look of a MacBook, but I think it is quite daunting to look at it because it's like all the apps and it's just a bit more confusing. But I'd love
I'd have a breakdown.
maybe we should do it where I give you my laptop for an afternoon
Let's do it.
and you're like, so how do you scroll on this laptop? Because I
How
don't
little bit is this?
even,
Uh,
you don't,
this
yeah.
video of me looking at it going, oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. All my friends say whenever you're really confused by something, have you seen like there's that meme of like a monkey with like tambourines just clapping?
Yeah,
We always say that's my brain right now. Like I don't understand what's happening.
that is exactly mine. And the
Yeah.
more I look at it, the faster the tambourines get.
Yeah.
But for an old person, I do quite well with technology, don't I,
Yeah.
Leah? So we're
Yeah, no, you do. You do. You've made like loads and loads of social posts, obviously do loads of video editing. I feel like you are like if I were to ask like, oh, I don't know who's a good example. Yeah, I don't know because my mum's quite technical actually. My dad used to work in technology, so he knows most things. To be fair, he most knows things from years ago, but he's retired now. So I feel like if I were to show him like something more current like that chat thing, I think he'd be like, what is going on? Do you know what I mean? I think
yeah.
that's what I mean. Technology changes so much and so often that even if you think you're up to scratch, that there'll be things that like we don't know when we might be like really, really tech savvy. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
and even like the people that are super tech savvy, there'll be things coming out all the time that you have to learn to do, and it just gets
Completely.
super confusing. Even when you think about when you get older, even when I get older, when you get older, there's going to be so many more things. Like Carter will be so tech savvy because he'll be around from such an
Yeah.
early age.
Like watching him on his iPad. Well, it's not an iPad, it's an Amazon one. There
Mm.
are other brands available, by the way. But when he's on that, or my phone, or Bailey's like proper gaming thing, he's off.
Yeah,
He knows exactly what it's. And I'm like watching, going, I don't even get it. And he wants this game on it. And I literally spent an hour last night trying to figure out how to download a game on this Amazon Fire. Could I do it? Nah, I give up. So he was nearly crying. I was like, I can't physically do it. I
yeah,
can't find the game. I don't know what it is, but he's more tech savvy than I am.
yeah. I think that's like a lot of kids as well. Like they call them like the iPad kids, don't they? Where like because they've grown up with technology now, like that's the only thing that will keep them occupied. And I feel like in some ways it needs to go the opposite way. Like it needs to be more like how we grew up, like sat at a table, you're not allowed to constantly have your phone out. But I think if I had a kid that was screaming, I'd be like, oh, have whatever you want. Like, I can't deal with this. Like, do you know what
Anything for a quiet life.
yeah, exactly. And I guess like they say that iPad kids, but they are going to grow up around it. So there's no point trying to shelter them from it because it's going to be part of their everyday life, whether you like it or not. So yeah, it is crazy whenever I think about tech and how much it's changed compared to our little Nokia phone or like when all you had was like Snake on it compared to now where you can literally download any game. Like it's crazy.
I mean, you think of me as well. I had cassettes and VHS tapes.
Yeah, I had
I
VHS.
wound back
I
to
remember that.
knotted up.
Yeah, I remember that. I feel like I'm in that age where, because I was born in the 90s, I have like a bit of the older stuff and then
Mm.
more of the technology stuff. But yeah, let us know down below if you're watching on YouTube what you guys grew up with in terms of technology. If you feel like it's completely like taken over, which is obviously what me and Claire think. And hopefully, if we get like quite a few comments over like the few podcasts that we do, we can maybe do one where we talk through the comments. That'd be quite nice, actually.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Have a bit of a chat.
Have a
So
bit of
yeah,
a chat.
make sure you're commenting it down below, and me and Claire will see you in our next podcast. Bye,
See you
everyone.
next week. Bye.